Hey everyone, it's Monday, and you know what time it is? It's the TRJ Live Show, episode 58, Running in the Heat, Strategy, Safety, and Staying Cool. We are live. Happy Monday, everyone. And it's the TRJ Live Show, and we're going to be talking about running in the heat because it's the dog days of summer right now. And we have to have a little bit of different tactics for running in the heat. So if you don't know me, I am Sherry Donahue from Trail Runner's Journey, and I'm your run info nerd. And basically, it's as simple as this. I do the nerdy stuff so you can do the running stuff. And you see, I got some books behind me. Oh, that's just part of them. Believe me, I have a coffee table full. And honestly, if my library card had frequent flyer miles, I'd never have to pay for a flight again, ever. So yeah, I like doing the nerdy stuff. So we're in the dog days of summer right now. So has you ever wondered where that saying came from? July, the dog days of summer. Where's that saying come from? Well, I did some research. And where that comes from is what the dog days of summer means. It is the hottest, most sultry or humid days of the year. And where this phrase actually came from, the dog days of summer, it came from ancient Rome and Greece. And it's actually not exactly associated with your dog lying on in the grass. It's associated with a star called Sirius. Now, Sirius is also known as the dog star. And in this period of time, when Sirius rises with the sun, they associated that Sirius rising with the sun created all the heat. So therefore, they coined the term the dog days of summer. It has to do with the star named Sirius. It's also known as the dog star. So now you know. Now you know where the dog days of summer, where that came from. So yes, we more certainly are in the dog days of summer, the hottest time in July. And for some of you, depending on where you're tuning in from, it might be the coolest part of the year because you're on the opposite end of the equator. So I'm coming from North America, Canada, and yeah, we've got the hot part right now. Trust me, 6 months from now, we'll have a negative in front of our temperature. Oh yeah. So I'm going to start the show off with a book I just finished reading, and it's actually a pretty interesting read. It's called Deep Nutrition by Dr. Kate Shanahan. She's a family physician, as well as she trained in both genetics as well as biochemistry. So this book is about going back ancestrally and what nutrition, you think about it, what was nutrition like in the hunter-gatherer era, and pretty much in a lot of ways, when you look at what was nutrition like before the era of processed foods came in, how did people eat, and what did the diet look like? And this is a thick book. Did you see? A lot of thickness to this book. This is a very good read. And basically, what she is deep nutrition. Why our genes need traditional food. They do not need corn dogs. They actually need traditional food. So it is going back, okay, what is actual natural food? What is the best food to get? And also how does processed foods, particularly vegetable oils and sugar, actually affect us? And she explains that nicely, the effects of vegetable oil. And when I say vegetable oil, I'm talking about highly processed seed oils, canola oil, and also the effects of sugar. Now, when it comes down to it, and this is what Catherine says, sugar, it basically fruit juice, soda. It doesn't matter what the heck kind of sugar it is, it's all sugar. And she describes those effects on the body. And it's actually a very interesting read. So this is a book I recommend to read, and she also gives steps about how you could actually get your diet back to really good stuff. So yeah, it's a definitely a read I recommend. I recommend that read. It'll take you a while to get through it, but definitely a recommend to read. And the way that I go about information, I give you the information. What you do with it is up to you. I will not stand on a podium and go, you must do. Don't even go there. No. This is the information. What you do with it is up to you. So that's Deep Nutrition. That's a book I'm reading. Actually, just finished reading. The book I'm reading right now is actually the Non-Runners Marathon book. So I'll give you a review on that one next week. So let's get into the dog days of summer and running in the heat. We just finished Badwater. Badwater 135. And for the folks that don't know, that is run in Death Valley. Hottest time of the year, and they're running it in Death Valley. And first of all, I will say congratulations to Stephanie Simpson. She is a Canadian, and she ran it, and she finished it, and she looked fantastic, honestly. Badwater, personally, is not a run I want to do, but it's worth your while to take a look at it to see kind of like how this race is run and what you have to do to enter this race. This is a lottery, like not a lottery, but you have to be qualified to get into this race. This is not one of go, oh yeah, I'm going to run Badwater. No, you got to be a very strong runner to get into this one in the first place. And also to see the crewing is different. The crewing is different, and so is the actual execution of the race. It's actually different. So what about up here? And while in North America, particularly in Canada, this is our hottest time of the year. Somewhere like some of the deeper, the more southern states, they actually run in the winter because it is too hot and humid. So I'm going to go through just some things of how to take care of yourself in the heat so that you can actually enjoy, and especially where we are in Canada. We enjoy this time because you know what? A few months from now, we'll have snow. So to enjoy the time that we have, and also to take care of ourselves. So one of the first things, and I'm going to say, because of the races, we can have the hot up here, and for us Canucks, a lot of it, we're not used to that really intense heat. So take care of ourselves when running. So first of all, know the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Now, heat stroke, that's the worst of the two, but what are the signs of heat exhaustion, and to pay attention to them? So one of the first signs, nausea. Nausea, and I'm going to lump in dizziness and lightheadedness. This is when you're starting to feel not so good. Okay, not so good. Nausea and vomiting are the next steps. Excessive fatigue, you're really starting to slow down and you're feeling awful. Let me give you a hint. This is not the time to do speed work. This is the time for you to slow it right down. And if you're starting to feel you've got the fatigue, get in the shade, take preventative, take your I'm going to say take first aid measures now. Because the next one is confusion or irritability. Kind of sounds like a hypoglycemic reaction. However, this is caused by heat. Now, if you find your heartbeat is starting to increase and get rapid, you're starting to head for this is not good. This is not good. You're in, especially if your body temperature increases. Now, I'm talking about your internal body temperature, not as a reflection from outside. This is when your body temperature is increasing. That's not good. So those are the signs and symptoms. So what do you do? Number one, get into the shade and slow down. You might even have to stop. Yeah, might have to stop. And if you're unsure, call a friend. This is not something to mess around with. And what do you do if another runner is starting to get into the stage? First of all, recognize the signs and symptoms. Now, I'm going to say running in the hot versus adding in the humidity are two different things. So, but either which way is with the heat, number one, slow down. Not the time to push it. It really isn't. So what do you do if you're starting to get into that state of where you're dizzy, you're nauseous? You gotta get into the cool. You really do. You have to slow down, get into the cool. If you have water, take sips of water, but the main thing is to get cool. And where to get cool? You see people have it on their forehead. Look at your points of body of where it's going to be most effective. In your neck for your carotid artery, your brachial arteries in your arms, also around your core. Getting as cool as possible. Back of the neck as well too. So first of all, shade. Second of all, cool down. If you need help, call for help. This is not the time to be a hero. So when you look at it, when is it too hot? Well, that's going to be up to you because some people have different heat tolerances than others. But things that you can do is number one, run when it's cooler. Now, up here, we've got sunrise at 5 o'clock in the morning and sunset at 10 o'clock at night. So there's a lot of variety in here. But run when it's a cooler part of the day. Okay, number one. Um, Now here's one thing for, and now I'll go into the dress, is dress light, but dress in wicking layers, no cotton. Nothing that absorbs that heat. So moisture wicking, and this is the time you don't put on the layers. It is as light as you can go, and know your limits. Now, some days are going to be too hot, some days too humid. Know your limits, and but I've got a whatever scheduled on the training plan. Training plan does not know what temperature you're running at. So listen to your body. And this is the one you really got to listen to your body and be smart about. And have an exit strategy, whether it's shade, whether it's getting into an air conditioned building, whatever it is, have an exit strategy. Now, what I'm going to do is go over um, the effects of humidity. We know what hot is, particularly up here. We know what hot is, but humidity adds an extra layer to this, and this is where the danger can really come in, because the thing is with humidity, with humidity, your sweat can't evaporate. So how the body works is you start to sweat. The moisture comes to the surface, that evaporates, and that cools you down. But in humidity, what happens is called a greenhouse effect. So if you've ever been in a hot greenhouse, I have, and it's hot. What happens in humidity is your sweat's not evaporating, so you're not cooling down. That is where the danger sets in, particularly if you start, oh, I'm going to push it. No, you don't. Slow it down. And with humidity, the one thing is to keep cool. That is one of the best things that you can do. And I'm going to have some examples of things that you can wear to help you keep cool. Now, hydration. What do we do? Well, the one thing is the best defense is your offense. So hydration. Let's go into hydration. Now, in your watches such as Garmin, the Garmin Phoenix has, when you have your run printout, there's also your sweat loss. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to your sweat loss. A friend of mine did a run in 24 kilometers, and he says, yeah, I was really thirsty after. And I looked and went, no kidding. You lost just about 2 liters of sweat. No kidding, you were thirsty. Now, what are you losing in that sweat? This is something to pay attention to. You're not only losing water, you're also losing your electrolytes, your salts, if you will. So you're losing sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, and probably some calcium. So if you look at, oh, I'm drinking a lot of water. Well, you also need the extra salts in there. So let's look at that. And hydration. Hydration isn't only during the run, it is also what you're doing every day. So here we go. In the summer, do you like watermelon? This is a time to get your hydrating foods, watermelon, tomatoes, avocados. It's also time to increase the hydration. So what could that be? Well, that could be, oh, geez, vitamin waters. That could be extra waters, electrolyte, even having electrolyte on a daily basis in the heat where you're sweating. That's not a bad thing. Pickle juice, sauerkraut juice, stuff like that helps you be hydrated. The more hydrated you are on a day-to-day basis, that is actually a protection mechanism when you go out and do your run. Okay, so that when you think about it, when your gas tank is full, when your car's gas tank is full, you're going to go a lot farther. Okay, so this is the same thing. So when you think about it, when you're in the heat and humidity, you're not only losing water, you're also losing your other thing. Another thing to do is look at your pee. Okay, look at your pee. If you've got a light yellow, you've got your hydration going pretty good. If it's starting to get dark yellow, like almost the color of my walls, and don't say my walls are pea yellow for crying out loud, but you get what I mean. If your pea is starting to get yellow and it's starting to smell, okay? And if you think about it, well, that kind of is like that when I wake up in the morning. Yeah, because think about it. You never peed during the night, or you may have peed once. Your bladder is more concentrated. If you're starting to do that during the day, you need to up the hydration. You really do. And when I say hydration, I not only talk about fluids, I also talk about salts. Now, when is it time to take it inside? It's up to you. And some people can run in hotter temperatures. Personally, I slow it right down. I don't run in hot temperatures. I have done races in the heat, and I also have a few strategies that can help keep me cool. But there's no shame in taking it inside when you're looking, going, it's hot. You know what? Go to the pool. Go to the pool. Do yoga instead. And you know what? If you happen to skip a day of training, you're not going to lose your fitness overnight. It is far better to take care of yourself. Far better to take care of yourself and be safe than it is to push it because something is saying something on a training plan. Okay, get it? Now, what if you're in a race? In the race, you manage the best you can. And slowing down is one thing. When you come into the aid station, check the table. Do they have watermelon? Do they have pickles, pickle juice? Also ice. Ice is another thing. And yeah, like having your cooling gear. But basically, know your limits. Know your limits of what you can do. Okay, this is not the time to push it. So how can we cool ourselves down? Okay, well, one thing I like to carry, especially in races, is a disposable cup. Okay, and you think about a cup, this is to drink from. No, well, there's other things. Also, if you come to a stream or a water source, you could pour it on yourself. You could, you could pour water on yourself. So use this as not only a drinking instrument, it could be a holding instrument to hold your pickles in here or your chips or whatever you have. It's a holding instrument. It's also a take some water instrument and pouring it on you. So nice thing about disposable, like one of these collapsible cups, they fold in and they take pretty much no space in your vest. Okay, I like the one that has a rim around it because it's just a little bit. You've got a good cup to hold on to. Some that don't, I've had fluid all over the place. So disposable cup. Another thing I like is, I'm going to show you my hat, is one of these. This is a cooling hat, and it has the flaps at the back. So especially if you're running where the sun is shining down on you, this actually protects the back of your neck, and especially from sunburn. This is a great hat. And also one trick to do inside, especially if you have a pocket inside or stitch a pocket inside, load this with ice. Load this with ice, put it on your head so that it actually cools the top of your head. And if you think about it, your head is a radiator. The top of your head is a radiator, so your hands and so your feet. So if you can find a way to keep your hands and feet cool, you're also helping keeping yourself cool. So load this up with ice. Get this wet. Flop it on your head, and it'll help keep you cool. Now, if you're looking at how much hair I have, is that hot in the summer? Oh yeah. Now, keep getting yourself wet. One of the things I do is I wet my hair, have my hair wet, and through that evaporation, that actually really helps as well too. Now, one thing that I saw on Western states, and by the way, that usually is a hot race. That is run in 100-degree temperatures, which 40 degrees or something like that in the Celsius. And there was one fellow running, and he had something at the back, and somebody went and said, well, what's that on his neck? And the comment was, run in 100-degree heat, you'll figure it out pretty quick. What I have is a cooling bandana. Now, this is one that my friend made for me. You can buy cooling bandanas or you can make them yourself. Now, if you're going to make them yourself, one place I recommend is going to Michael's, and they have cooling towels there. So I'm going to come into a cooling towel in a minute. But this has a chamois. This is a chamois pocket in here, of which this is loaded with ice. Loaded with ice, folded over, and it ends up being a bandana around my neck. So it sits around my neck, and the ice is there, and then as it melts, I don't let it go down my back. I have a cooling towel around, and this is one thing to carry with you in the summer, especially even if you're going outside, if you're going to an event or something like that, is a cooling towel. Now, I wrap the cooling towel around my bandana because this absorbs the water. How a cooling towel works is it's wet, you flip it around to the air, and it actually is cooler. It actually does work to have a cooler. Now, Michael's has cooling towels. Having a nice bandana with a cooling towel insert, or even make it out of the cooling towel, that's something to do as well too. Now, another thing that can be cooling is these little guys right here. And this is a homemade version of where it is. You could put it around your neck. It's a nice little bandana or a necktie. And this has of where ice cubes can be put into this, and you wear it around your neck. This is a nice, actually the fabric is quite cooling. This is something to have to carry with you. This is great. So think about the ways if you can keep your body cool. The neck, that's one of the main ones. Now, another thing is cooling sleeves. Now, cooling sleeves are different than regular sleeves. Cooling sleeves have xylitol in the fabric. And whoops, here we go, zoot. If you notice that there's printing on here, when I have these loaded with ice, I cannot see the printing. So when I can see the printing again, these guys, they need, I'm going to say recharging. But when I wear the cooling sleeves, any type of breeze that happens to be happening, it actually does help in the cooling. Now, what do I do besides just wearing these? I load these up with ice. I have ice right from my armpit to my wrist. And especially when I were at Javelina in the desert, both sleeves were loaded with ice, and it really, really does help. Now, what did I do with the water when that was dripping down my arm? I had my cup in my hand so that any water was collecting in my cup. What did I do with the water in my cup? I poured it back over my cooling sleeves. So that's another little trick. Now, another thing you can do is particularly if you're in a race and you're running with bottles, is get the bladder out and get the bladder, fill that with ice. So especially in races, or having that you have your crew has ice in the cooler, fill your bladder with ice, and you have that on your back, and that is actually helping cool your spine down. Now, the nice thing about that, as the water cools, you've got cold water. You have cold water to drink. So that's another little tip for you for helping to keep cool. Now, having ice that you have it in your mouth, that helps. And think about it, what ways to make you comfortable, that you're going to enjoy the event and the whole thing. I've had heat stroke not heat stroke, but I've had heat exhaustion. I've had the headaches, the puking, the I can't stand the sun. It's not fun. It really isn't. And as I said, the best defense is is a good offense. So one of the best things, hydration. Hydrate, and hydrate. And on a day-to-day basis, that's one of the best things you can do for let me say, not only keeping cool, but making sure you're safe. So, hey, do you have any tips for how you stay cool during the hot days of summer? And also, if you're in a race, how do you keep cool when the race and you're in a hot one? What's your strategies? Drop them below. I'd like to know. So, hey, you want to have me more in your inbox? Yeah, you do. All right. So my Trail Wisdom Weekly newsletter, it is launching. So if you want to get in and have a little letter from me coming every week, drop newsletter in the comments, and I will send you the link for sure. So yeah, that's wraps it up. I am sad to say Hard Rock 100, there was a casualty on the trail. Cause of death, not sure yet, but that's prayers and condolences to the family for the lady who did pass away. She was 6 miles into the course, and she succumbed on the course. Cause, don't know, but you know what? It might have been her time, and I hold it that she was doing something she loved. So things happen. Things happen, and it's not things happen. Woohoo! Thing There are the risks. So everyone, be safe out there. We are in the hotter part, especially up here. We're into the hotter part of the year. Be safe, and enjoy the summer. Everyone knows up here, a few months' time we'll have snow and we'll be complaining. We wish we would have had the heat. So everyone, get outside, get some trail. If you're running in a race this weekend, Gold Bar is coming up. That usually is notorious for being hot. So prepare yourself, and as I said, be safe out there. So everyone, have a great day, have a great rest of the week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Take care.